What's up, guys? We need to have a conversation about league streamers and league content creators. Now, I want us to be careful about how we consume league content. During the last week of the season, I streamed a lot. The content was good. I was super close to hitting Grandmaster for the first time, so tensions were high, people were engaged. It was awesome. Now, let me give some context about when you create content. The platform and the people you create for kind of push your content over time. And they push that the form that it takes, right? When I stream on Twitch, I have to stream for like a large chunk of time. I have to stream for at least 4 hours, or Twitch won't even count that as a stream, right? I won't get to run as much ads, which means Twitch doesn't want to push it, which means I also won't get rated. And there's all these things. I have to stream for a long time, right? On YouTube, I don't post for longer than like 20 minutes because that's not really engaging. People will click off. I won't get good watch time. YouTube won't push it, and I can't do that, right? TikTok. I talk differently, knowing that I'm going to get a lot of new, unique viewers that don't have the context of what JsMethod is all about. All right, so the platform you create for kind of constrains and pushes you to create in a certain way, and the people you create for, right? I'm creating for league players. That changes how I talk, that changes what I do. Now, over this last week where I was streaming a lot, I noticed this dichotomy, this really big difference between Coach JS and me as a person and my Twitch stream, and how I am on twitch.tv/JsMethod. And I realized a lot of that is rooted in to maintain high energy and engaging content for 4, 8, 12 or more hours at a time, parts of me become highlighted and accentuated, and other parts of me become muted or hidden, right? I cannot react critically to every single stimuli coming into me over the course of 12 hours. Right? I don't have the brain power for that. I don't have the attention span, especially while I'm trying to climb and hit a new peak in League of Legends, right? So, because I'm streaming on Twitch and I'm streaming to an audience, I'm going to choose to not react to the boring stuff, right? Which is inherently different from what Coach JS does. Because when I'm coaching or I'm playing by myself and I'm reviewing my own games, my philosophy is boring is sexy, right? I spend a lot of time focusing on how did you miss this minion? Are you standing in the right spot? Did you use your wards correctly at the right time? Did you pay attention to where the jungle's starting? It's all boring stuff at face value, you're just last hitting a minion, right? It's very simple. But in terms of improvement and coaching, that stuff is really sexy. That's what the whole game's about. But on Twitch, boring leads to a loss of income. The more I focus on boring things, the less viewers I get, the less interaction I get, and the less money I get. I effectively get feed. I get a literal financial fee for interacting with boring things. So that kind of part of me, that Coach JS boring is sexy part of me, gets kind of muted, right? And I choose not to interact with that. Not because it's a conscious decision I made, but because if I don't, I literally have less money at the end of the month. So I've learned over time, don't talk about boring stuff. And on the other end, Twitch actually pushes me to interact with highly emotional and dividing things, right? My paycheck, I get a bonus for interacting with my inting teammate, right? If I have a bot laner that's going 0-20 and I type at him on stream, I get a pay bonus for that because it's relatable and it's emotional and people understand and they want to engage with it because they're like, I get inted too. Tell this guy how bad he is because he deserves it and these guys are bad, right? And that's really engaging content and that leads to a pay bonus. So even though I didn't even consciously notice it, over the years, over the months, I have been pushed to kind of mute some of this Coach JS-ness in myself and highlight some of this negative, toxic part of myself because that's what gets me paid more and that's what kind of gets me more interaction, right? And I've been averaging more viewers over on Twitch, and the more viewers I average, the worse I notice this problem gets. Because every time I'm at a peak viewership for a long time, I'm at 20 or 30 viewers for an hour or two, I realize hey, the things I've been saying have been a little bit too hyperbolized, too extreme, too cut and dry, maybe highlighting too much of the toxic side of the game. So Twitch and the platform pushes this, if you want to have content, it pushes you to highlight these negative parts of the game. Parts of the game that we wouldn't interact with otherwise, right? If I'm playing by myself, or if it wasn't for the money attached and I'm coaching somebody, I'd say do not talk to your inting bot lane, right? Even on this channel, we had a YouTube video a couple days ago called Puzzle Piece Teammates. And I talked about how if you have a teammate that's just a bad puzzle piece, you don't let them take up space in your mind. Your mind is too valuable, right? So you don't interact with the you mute them, you don't play around them, you don't listen to their shot calls, you play around the people that are doing good. You highlight the good parts of the game. That's what we should do to climb, but that's not what we do for content as streamers, right? And also, I tend to overreact with engaging things, right? I hyperbolize statements, right? I'm going to lose nuance in the information. I'm going to flame somebody's build really heavily and hardly because that's what people hear, right? I'm going to say, he built Collector, he's the worst player in the world, because that's what gets chat to go, lol W, yes sir, WW, lol W, you know what I mean? But if I'm like, oh, you know, Collector's not technically the real item here, really, it's probably not optimal, but you know, you could have gone LDR. There were some games where Collector would have been good. Viewers just leave, right? Because they're not engaged. So they're going to go find something else to watch. And all of these kind of things I've been noticing are rooted in the content, right? Are rooted in the entertainment that we're trying to have as streamers. And there's a price for wanting to be engaging. There's a price for being engaging. And that's okay, right? I don't think that I'm a bad person because I hyperbolize when I stream because it's more interesting, right? It actually gets me paid more and it makes you guys have more fun, right? That's a win-win as long as we all understand the context. The issue comes in where we forget the context and you're watching JsMethod, who you view as like, or you may view as like this coach, right? Who coaches all these people. So he's got this perfect mental and he's this perfect coach. If you watch me with that context, I will be actively harmful for our real narratives. And it's the same thing with other streams, right? So if we watch other streams, let's be conscious of the context, right? Somebody who's very competitive naturally through their temperament on stream may come off as incredibly toxic. I think the most obvious example is Tyler1, right? A lot of people think that Tyler1 is a toxic person because on stream, he comes off like that. But in real life, with the people who've interacted with Tyler, or he talks about his routine off of stream, he actually has a good review process for his games, right? He goes back on his games, he reviews them, he does the JsMethod process off stream, but he doesn't talk about reviewing his games on stream because nobody cares, right? He acts a little bit more toxic or a little bit more high energy and competitive on stream because that's what gets people to be energetic and that's what creates the content. Right? And that's okay as long as you understand that what's rooted in. It's okay to indulge and enjoy that, but it's not 100% real, right? There are parts of Tyler that are highlighted on stream and accentuated, and there are other parts of him that are muted and that don't really show up at all, right? Same thing with my stream. When I'm streaming, I got 20 to 30 people I'm trying to entertain or whatever. I'm trying to be entertaining, right? So there are going to be parts of this boring part of me that are going to be muted, where when I'm coaching, it's kind of the opposite. I'm going to kind of mute the for fun part and I'm going to really highlight the boring stuff because, you know, that's my coach philosophy. Boring is sexy. But I just really wanted to make this clear to wrap up this video. Be careful when you watch league streams and understand the context. There are some streams that are educational, but they tend to not be entertaining, right? If you go watch pro streams or like Nemesis, like these guys don't talk when they play. They mostly just play and you can watch and learn from that. And they'll talk very analytically. It's not very fun, but it's to learn, right? Go into that stream knowing that. If you watch somebody who's trying to have fun and have good content, go into that stream and understand it's for fun. It may not be the best narratives. It may not be the most positive thing in the world, but it's also not 100% real. It's an exaggeration for the content, right? And that's okay. It's good for everybody, right? You guys have more entertainment. We get more money. We get more engagement. We get more audiences, everything, or a bigger audience. That is good for everybody as long as we take it within context and you don't misconstrue what you're hearing. That's how like disingenuous clips happen, right? People will take a clip that sounds like somebody saying something ridiculous, but really the streamer is just kind of hyperbolizing or saying something or not giving enough brain to what he's reacting to, because again, so many things are being thrown at you for such a long period of time. You're going to kind of say something that you don't really mean, or you're going to overly exaggerate at some point. So we just have to understand that like those things happen. That's the price of having entertaining live streamers, right? So as long as we have entertaining live streamers, this is something that us as viewers and us as a community have to understand. So I just wanted to make sure that people are on the right page when it comes to watching streamers. It's okay They're fine to have fun with, but understand they're not good for your own brain's narrative. Don't copy their narrative. Go copy somebody's narrative who's trying to help you improve, right? Like, watch my YouTube videos for good narratives, right? My mental playlist. Watch Coach Curtis. Watch the Broken by Concept podcast. Watch the things that teach you to have good narratives if you're trying to do that. If you want to have fun and just unwind, go watch the 4Fun streamers. But understand they're not trying to teach you to behave correctly. They're trying to get you to giggle and laugh and have fun, right? So as long as you understand that, that's okay. Let me know what you guys think about this. You guys made it to the end of a JsMethod vlog, so go ahead and type 11 minutes. I believe it'll be around 11 minutes at this point in the video. Let me know what you guys thought. I'll see you guys in a couple days. Have a blessed night. Peace.